Good evening, everybody, and welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Monday evening. We still have music playing in the background.
Yes, I know.
We're supposed to stop that soon.
I
Although,
can hear it.
although I can talk to you with my Monday evening jazz voice. It is Monday evening, and welcome, welcome to a special edition session. Since normally we don't normally have sessions on Mondays, but Nick and I were like, why again did we add a few Mondays? You know why, everybody? Because we missed 3 sessions while we were in Costa Rica. And instead of skipping them, we decided to add them on Mondays for all of you. Because you know what? We got some pretty amazing guest speakers, and we had so many of them who were willing and wanting to participate in these sessions with us and with all of you that we could not resist. So let's go and start off with a few updates before we bring in Joanne tonight, who is our special guest. But let's talk about today. So Monday, we went to Nick last night, no lie, after the session was done. I went downstairs and picked up our guest who was spending the night because they were heading to Montreal. They jumped on a train this morning. And he literally said hi. We took a picture with her and then he went to bed. He's like, I am going to bed. I am exhausted. So I gallantly, as the gracious host that I am, stayed up for an hour with her and said, okay, I need to go to bed now. She was also tired because Linda, actually, it's Linda, Matilda's cousin, for those of you who weren't aware, Matilda's cousin was coming into town and she asked if she could spend the night because she was heading to Montreal to go to Le Carnaval du Québec, which I've never even been. I'm so jealous. I was like, you're going to Carnaval? How awesome is that?
Well, we're also not winter
I
people.
know we're not winter people, but I still want to go. So, for those of you who don't know, in Quebec, every year it's an annual thing. It's been going on for years. There's even one, like le bonhomme Carnaval.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is a big snowman, and he's the mascot, and it's kind of really wicked because they have like an ice hotel that
it
you can.
sounded like you said Willy Wicked.
It's really wicked, Willy Wonka. It's really wicked.
Really
They
wicked.
have like an ice hotel that you can stay at. Like, there's so many things. You're walking down the street, and there's like vendors, and it's just a really cool experience. I've always wanted to go. So maybe one year, if I buy enough parkas and snowsuits and mittens and gloves I borrowed Darcy's hand warmers that she had over the weekend. Apparently, you can buy hand warmers and put them in your gloves now. I need foot warmers, hand warmers, and a butt warmer in order for me to go. But I could do it. I could definitely do it. But so we spent some time together last night. She left this morning. We woke up this morning and we felt great, actually. We were so glad that we took
Slept in 11 and a half
11 and a
hours.
half hours. So, the extra 2 minutes that Naomi told us to do yesterday, Nick did the extra 5 hours instead.
I love sleeping. If you anyone who knows me, who's met me personally, I can sleep for hours. I've slept over 24 hours before when I've been sick. So I enjoy sleep. So I'm one of those weird people that I wake up in the morning like I can sleep for 3 more hours and just go back to sleep and fall
He
again.
can.
Yeah.
He definitely can.
Yeah.
So we woke up this morning, and you know what? We felt refreshed. I ended up getting a good 9.5 hours of sleep myself. And you know what? You need it sometimes. You need to catch up on that sleep. And I love what Naomi said last night, everybody. Don't think you're like, especially if you're one of the people that want to increase your sleep, don't say, okay, well, I'm going to go to bed at, if you go to bed at midnight normally, and you're like, I'm going to go to bed at 9 o'clock, and you're in bed from 9 p.m. till midnight, not sleeping, that's not going to help you anymore. Because when you get to midnight, you're not going to be able to fall asleep. So I loved her suggestion yesterday of just saying, I'm going to go to bed at 11:58 tonight. So that way by midnight, you're 2 minutes earlier, and then just start decreasing that amount of time on a regular
Or
basis
increasing.
or increasing. But it's
But
technically a decrease, but it's an increase. It's a weird word. It's a weird thing of looking at it. So that was good. We had a great day today. We worked all day. And then we taught step class at 5:30 tonight, which was awesome. And I ran out really quick before step, oddly enough, and I was able to go get some groceries because we had nothing in the house. We had nothing because we were gone all weekend. And I made hamburgers. I was craving burgers. So I made us turkey burgers and I made us French fries in the air fryer. And I was going to add another potato to the 3 small potatoes that I had. And Leah and I looked at each other and said, why do that? Let's have a side of green beans with it instead. So we had green beans and a small side of potatoes, which was great, and then a turkey burger, which
It
was
was
awesome.
so
It was
good.
so good. I was craving a burger.
It was 8 bites for those
8
wondering.
bites, yes.
I will be posting again today. So now that we're back on routine tonight, I'll post all of our pictures from today. Some cute pictures of these little ones too today. I
You
can't
know,
wait to see them.
it is not Nick's birthday if someone was asking.
No,
Nick's not till May.
I'm in May.
I'm first.
Yeah, he's
I'm in
first.
April.
Actually,
Actually,
everybody.
I'm all giving you a day off on my birthday. For those of you, because it actually falls on Good Friday this year. My birthday is April 18th. So you all have a good a
Isn't
day.
he nice?
Well, I have it in with the guy upstairs, I guess.
So we have gotten a letter as well in the mail today. So
Valentine's Day
from
card.
Charlotte Heather, it's a Valentine's Day card, and it says, "Hope you have a really nice day." GNICE, filled with lots of love, and maybe our Starbucks wish you love.
Thank
That's
you so
awesome.
much.
Thank
Thanks,
you for the Valentine's Day
Thank
card.
you.
If anybody ever wonders about how to send us mail, if you look on our emails we send you every day, the address is at the bottom. That easy. So you can get our address from there if you can send us some stuff. Jean-Luc loves mail, so you can even just send us a letter.
When we say stuff, we don't mean things.
Not things.
Send us a letter,
Letters.
just a card. I love opening mail.
Yeah.
I know this sounds weird. Even when it's bills or junk mail, the idea of opening the envelope excites me. I know it sounds stupid. When I open it and I see the bill, I scream and go, "Why did I spend money?" But I still enjoy it. I know that sounds weird.
So we have 3 sessions coming up this week. So on tomorrow night, we have Anja Trusky, which will be about positivity. It's in all of us. So she'll be talking about that tomorrow night. On Thursday, we're in the kitchen. Jean-Luc will be making some chicken parmesan or tofu parmesan. The recipe works for both, with cauliflower Alfredo sauce, which is so amazing. It's actually better than Alfredo sauce. I prefer it now. It's so good. So we're doing that on Thursday. Then this Sunday, we have our wonderful Jen and Heather from Rustic Mama Retreats. So we talked to you on Sunday about our time at Bougie Mama this past weekend. So they're coming and they're going to explain to you what Rustic Mama is and how it came about, why they do this, and why we love doing it. Like, we're also going to share why we love doing it with them, because we'll tell you why on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
So we also have a contest to run tonight. So I'm going to share my screen. As you guys remember, we had our Tupperware contest, and we already pulled our Canadian Tupperware party, and we are giving away all the host gifts. So we already did it for the Canadian people. We had 3 people win $200 worth of products. This is our US wheel, so we're going to spin now.
You can actually see people's names on this wheel.
Yeah, it's visible.
So the winner, I believe, is $74 of free.
Yeah, Barbara M1. So that's their winner. So we will get in touch with you on how to get your order and figure all that out. So congratulations to Barbara.
Thank you
for winning, and thank you everyone for buying products. We were overwhelmed by the amount of people who bought things from this thing. We had never thought this would happen, so we're kind of still shocked by all of it.
And just for an FYI, if you're still looking for products, you can reach out to Jean-Luc and Nick if you're in Canada. And if you are in the US, our lovely Robin, who is here this evening, is waving. If you're watching on the grid view, she's waving to everybody. Please reach out to Robin. She has graciously become an actual Tupperware rep or ambassador. I don't know what the lingo is. I'm still new to this. Make sure that people that are part of Kickstart are able to order and just make it a little bit more smooth. Not that it wasn't smooth with Lynn. Lynn was great. She was fantastic. But Robin gets what we do and how we do things, so it just makes it a little bit more.
We also met her in person in Las Vegas.
We
swam with her. We swam with her
in Vegas.
So we also have an announcement that the Kickstand book and PDF is now available for those of you who wanted the Kickstand book, and for those of you wondering what Kickstand means. Kickstart, which we're doing right now, is a focused period of 42 days where we have 10 commitments and we're focusing hardcore on what we're doing. We're trying to get those 10 commitments every day. Kickstand is the maintenance part of our program. It's the weeks in between Kickstart programs where you're trying to maintain what you did during your Kickstart. So this book has in it a way for you to track your commitments going forward. It has daily tasks in the book, because during Kickstand, it's all in the book. So some days it's going to tell you to do some mental health tasks. Some days it's going to be a physical task. So the book is available. It's $15 PDF for the PDF on our website, or you can get the book from Amazon, which is $30 for any country. So the links are on our website. You just go to jeanlucandnick.com/Amazon to get the Amazon book, or jeanlucandnick.com/shop for the PDF. and it's in your email tomorrow morning. So if you don't know the links, tomorrow morning in your email that you get every morning, there's actually going to be a section about the Kickstart, what it's about, and what the book has. Kickstand, and what the book has.
Yes. And again, not mandatory. I want to reiterate that. Nothing needs to be purchased to be a part of Kickstand or Kickstart. We want to make sure that everybody knows that there is no cost to this to anybody. This is just tools that we provide in order to help you, because we do understand certain people like to have some type of journal, and having something specific to what you're doing is sometimes very helpful.
And for those wondering, Kickstart Summer 2025 is beginning on April 20th, which is Easter weekend. So after you're done all your eating and then we're going to start orientation. Don't worry, we're not starting commitments right away.
Not right away. It's not the day after.
We're going to have a full week of orientation, and then after the full week of orientation, we will begin Kickstart. And this summer, it'll be a little different.
A little different.
So we're changing it up again. Each time we're always trying to improve it, make it better.
I don't want to say different. It just enhanced. Let's say enhanced, because I don't want people to think it's going to change drastically.
No.
There's not going to be drastic changes. But guess what, guys? Every time you do something,
you learn.
And it's so funny that I'm going to bring this up real quick before we bring. Today, I was in the shower after we did our step class and we showered, and I looked at myself in the mirror. And 5 years ago, I lost 100 pounds. Okay. I lost 100 pounds 5 years ago. And when I'm going to tell you, it was not easy back then. I struggled because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I could do it, but I was doing it every week. But even with the fact that my scale was going down, I was changing my habits, I was changing what I was doing, I still didn't believe in myself back then. This time, I gained some weight back and I'm doing it again. But you know what the difference is? I believe in myself. I know I can do this. I did it before. It might not be the same as I did the first time, but it's so weird when you start thinking that, guess what? I can do this. So start believing in what you're doing. It makes a huge, huge difference.
So for those wondering when the next Kickstart book will be available, it'll be during Kickstand. I haven't begun creating it yet. So I just finished Kickstand. And so I'll be working on Kickstart Summer starting in the next few weeks, and it'll be coming out during Kickstand. So if you're waiting to buy both books, Kickstart and Standard already start, and you won't be able to start tracking right away. So you better purchase the book now if you're looking to get it,
and because we aren't able to work on both books simultaneously, it just adds too much to the calendar, unfortunately.
Exactly. So now tonight we are here and thrilled to welcome a powerhouse the world of learning and wellness, Joanne Dominico. Joanne is a learning and wellness strategist on a mission to help people unlock their full potential. With over 20 years of experience, she's a sought-after learning expert who's been featured on CP24, Breakfast Television, and The Social.
Oh, lucky we are.
And now she's bringing her expertise straight to you.
Currently, she's a full-time faculty member of Centennial College. Joanne also runs her personal practice called Study with Joanne, where she delivers engaging how-to educational workshops that make learning smarter, not harder. I love that. That's awesome. Always learn smart, not hard. As a seasoned TEDx speaker, Joanne has delivered hundreds of impactful talks on study skills, time management, and self-care, helping people develop research-backed strategies to thrive in both learning and life. So her dynamic and engaging approach makes her the perfect guest to help us tonight level up our habits and our mindset. So welcome, Joanne. It's so nice to see you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Nice to see you too. I just have to say, I do workshops virtually with students all the time, and they never turn their cameras on. So when I came and saw all the faces, like this feels like Christmas to me, honestly. It is so nice to see you all. It feels like a gift. It really does, because you have to understand how difficult it is to just see those black squares all the time.
Yeah. We never force anybody to do it, but you know what? It's so funny. As they start coming more and more every week, you start seeing a few more cameras turn on, and it's just great.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
It is. Well, I'm excited to be here, and I have to give a disclaimer. You'll see I'm a bit of a talker. I get really passionate about the things I'm going to share. So please, Jean-Luc or Nick, please feel free to be like, Joanne, we're running low on time here. You might need to interrupt me because I talk a lot. And I ask a lot of questions and stuff. So yeah. All right. So I'm going to get started, everyone. Good evening. Nice to see you all. I'm going to share my screen and get started. Oops, that's my desktop. What happened there? There we go. All right. So today's session is called The How-To of Habits, 10 tips for building healthy habits that stick. And here we go. So nice to meet you all. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. You already heard everything about me in my bio that was shared. I think one thing that I like to share is a little bit about me personally. I truly do practice what I preach. I'm very much into wellness and learning. I actually read articles on learning and wellness in my spare time. I love to read nonfiction. And salad jars are my most favorite thing ever. I'm not sure if you've done salad jars on your Thursday cooking meetups, but they're so fun. And my weakness is salty snacks because, balance. So that was my little treat last night while watching the Super Bowl. I had some chips and dip with my son. But today I went back to my regular healthy eating. So I love to do workshops. I love to teach others about learning and wellness because I'm so passionate about it and because I see the impact that it can have. I love to share this story because it's pretty funny. So as mentioned, I work full-time at Centennial. I actually work at the health science campus at Morningside and 401. So I work predominantly with nursing students, paramedic, massage therapists, physiotherapists, etc. And one semester, I had a lovely paramedic student named Haley who came to see me. Poor Haley was struggling with all of her courses. She was actually on the verge of failing and probably having to leave the program. She was doing so poorly. And she was really surprised because in order to get into the paramedic program, you need like a 90% average. These are like top level students. And so Haley came to see me. I met with her a few times and then I never really saw her again. She went on her merry way. And then one day I was walking to the Tim's on campus and the coordinator of the paramedic program spotted me. And he said, you're the one who does witchcraft with my students. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, we had this one student and she was failing everything. We were going to have to kick her out of the program. And all of a sudden, her grades went up so quickly and so significantly that we booked a meeting with her because we thought she was cheating. And when they met with her, she said, oh, no, 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 I wasn't cheating. I just met with the learning strategist. So he's like, what kind of sorcery are you doing with these students? And when I thought about Haley, I remembered she had terrible habits. Like many of us do, we live our lives on autopilot, right? She wasn't getting enough sleep. She wasn't exercising. She was living on Uber Eats. She was super stressed out and anxious. So once I taught her how to incorporate some healthy habits, she was amazed at how that optimized her brain for learning. And then she went on to graduate and become a paramedic. So it was a nice ending to that story, but I always think it's funny that it can make such a drastic difference in a student's life. And so my hope is today that some of the strategies I share can make a big difference in your life as well. So let's dive in. Today we're going to talk about, how we're feeling today about stress, how to slay your self-care, how to hype up your habits, and my top tips for surviving and thriving in today's busy times, because it is definitely a busy time for many of us. So you will need a pen and paper. I do have one activity that requires a pen or pencil and paper. If you would like to participate, you can grab that. Just giving you that heads up. All right, so here we are, kind of mid-February-ish, and it has been one of the winteriest winters that we've had in a very long time here in Canada. I saw someone in the chat said they're in Mexico. I was like, must be nice. But for those of us here in the cold, or if you're in one of the states that experiences cold, it's been quite a long winter, and I find sometimes we can really feel the effects of that. The shorter days, the colder temperatures, all that snow, and we're supposed to get more on Wednesday. Oh my gosh, I'm so over it. So I'm curious to know just how you're doing. So if you could let me know in the chat, if you had to tell me in one word, how are you doing right now? How are you doing? Are you feeling happy, energized, stressed, tired? Just one, struggling. Yeah, good. Okay. I find it helpful sometimes to see that some of us are feeling kind of similar. Tired, blah, content. Yeah, see? A few blahs. A cold. Yes, I feel you. A lot's going on. Lonely. Yeah. Tired. See? Yep. Yeah. Good. Okay. Exhausted. Oh, yeah. When you're sick, that's tough. So good to see that some of us are kind of feeling good. Some of us are feeling not so good. Some of us are feeling in between. And my next question is an interesting one. Let's see here. How have your energy levels been lately? Give me a number out of 10. 10 out of 10 means I'm the Energizer Bunny. I'm great. I'm so energetic. And 1 means I have 0 energy. Just curious to see the gauge here. Okay, 6, 5, 6 to 7, not bad. Not seeing anything below 4. Okay, there we go. I was like, there's got to be a few people who are feeling low energy. 5, okay. There we go. Yeah. All right. So we're all kind of feeling different, but there's a nice range here. And my last question is, how would you rate your current stress levels from, let's do low, medium to high? How are your current stress levels? Low, medium, or high? Medium, low, mega. Ooh. Okay. So it seems like a lot of medium. So yeah, it's important to think about kind of where we're at, like where we're at right now in terms of our overall well-being, in terms of our day-to-day life. Many of us have lots on our plates, and many of us, could be going through a rough time, sickness, stress, depression. It's a lot to juggle. So I'd like to sort of highlight how stress can affect our mindset, right? It can actually interfere with your memory, your decision making, and your ability to learn and digest information. It definitely makes us not able to focus as well. We can feel restless, anxious, and distracted. I know for sure when I'm stressed, it impacts my mood. I'm generally very happy and upbeat, but sometimes when I'm super stressed, my son will call me and I'll be like, what? Right? As opposed to like, yes, dear. So research shows it's not just chronic stress, right? Sometimes even short bursts of stress can have these negative effects and they can impact our productivity. So when we're super stressed, then often that exacerbates us feeling more stressed, and that just continues the cycle. So basically what I'm saying is all this stress can really mess with us. And I think it's normal, especially as adults, that we experience stress. But I think we have to kind of keep in mind what we can do to ensure that we're staying on top of the game, to ensure that we're really taking care of ourselves. What can we do to make sure we thrive during challenging times, bounce back when we're faced with adversity, protect our positivity, and win with wellness? So I like to think of it as like a resilience recipe. So kind of always having a toolbox of strategies that you can draw from when you're feeling stressed or when you're feeling like your energy levels are low. And so my resilience recipe just happens to be prioritizing your self-care, building positive and healthy habits, making everyday choices that are conducive to your desired lifestyle. And that recipe helps you to be healthier, happier, more productive, and better able to support those who rely on you, whether that's people you work with, whether that's your family, whether that's your friends or people in your community. And I really see that as a win-win, right? You take care of you, and then you're better able to take care of those who depend on you. So let's talk about how to slay your self-care, because that is really the foundation, right? If you think about a building or a house that's being built, you could build as tall as you want, but if it doesn't have a strong foundation, then that structure is going to fall over and crash. So think about what we can do for ourselves to make sure we have a strong foundation so that we can kind of handle whatever life throws our way. So first of all, self-care is very broad. It's a very broad term. I'm curious to think if you can put in the chat for me, what does it mean to you? What does self-care mean to you? Just throw out some words. There's no right or wrong here because it's quite broad. So I'm just curious to think, where does your mind go when I say self-care? EFT, okay. Doing things for yourself, eating right, yes. Relaxing, getting a massage, oh my gosh, yes. Enough sleep, healthy eating, swimming, great. Taking time for myself, art, music, saying no, oh, that's a good one. Sleep, I see lots of sleep and time alone, good. Good. And see, that's the thing. That's why I asked this question, because self-care does mean different things to different people. Oh, nice. Swimming is popular. So when I focus on self-care in my workshops, I like to preface that it's quite broad and we all have different things that we like to do. I'm sure I can go a little slower. Sorry about that. I'm a fast talker, so please feel free to give me a little nudge anytime you want me to go slower. So this is a nice definition I found on psychcentral.com. It's really about the deliberateness, right? It's any activity that we do on purpose to take care of our mental, emotional, or physical health. And I truly believe this next statement. It is a very simple concept in theory, but it's definitely something that we overlook. Because when we are stressed or when we have a lot going on, we tend to focus outward on all the things that we have to do, and we tend to kind of ignore what's going on the inside. So good self-care, it says here, is key to improved mood, reducing your anxiety, and like I mentioned before, it's key to a good relationship with both yourself and others. And this is me planking, by the way. We can take a minute to admire the plank. Not easy to hold that for more than 30 seconds, is it? Okay, so why is it so important and what can help us to achieve it? Well, it's important because it really does optimize your brain to be more productive and to learn more effectively. It does help you to be more resilient because it helps you to cope with stress and challenges. Obviously, many of us are already aware of the many, many health benefits. So the physical benefits of, getting stronger, healthy heart and lungs, reduction in disease, and increasing your energy levels and your mood. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to keep coming back to this point. It does help you to be better able to take care of other important people in your life. So it's important for all these reasons. It's not just, they recommend that I sleep this many hours, but really think about the why. Why is it important that I really prioritize and focus on my self-care? And these are just some of the reasons. And you may have different reasons that are personal to you as well. These are just some general reasons. So how does self-care help you to manage your stress? Well, this is what I was just talking about. It's really often neglected because we focus so externally on the outside. And so it's really about going inward with like open, compassionate ears to really check in on yourself and see how you're doing. Because oftentimes we're so focused on how everyone else is doing, right? We ignore ourselves. So it's during our difficult or stressful times that we really need to care for ourselves the most. And I just love what Jean-Luc and Nick were talking about when they recognized that they needed extra sleep because they had a late night. So they caught up with it, right? Because if they didn't get that extra sleep, they wouldn't have the energy for the 5:30 step class, right? So it's so important that we kind of refuel ourselves. So it's when we're stressed, when we have a lot going on, that's when we need to make sure we're moving our bodies, getting enough sleep, eating healthy, not missing meals, really taking breaks and preserving our boundaries. That's when we need to attend to our needs and the things that fill up our cups the most, right? So it doesn't just help us feel better. Like getting that extra sleep doesn't just help us feel better. It helps us function at our best. So it truly optimizes our productivity and our learning. It replenishes us, it provides clarity, and it supports overall health and well-being. So self-care is important for all those reasons. So it's funny, I was meeting with a student today, and I was explaining something to her, and she said, I've heard about some strategies before, but nobody ever took the time to explain the why. So I'm really big on always explaining the why behind things, because then at least we know why we're doing it. And that often can help with motivation when you understand the why behind it. So a refresher of the basics. I know for many of you, this will be a review because you're quite aware of the different things you need to do to take care of yourself. But something that's not always mentioned when I ask about what self-care means to you is having a positive mindset. So this is something that you should actually be working on a daily basis because it's been shown to like literally decrease the cortisol levels, that stress hormone in our blood, decrease anxiety, boost your immune system, and just make you better able to cope with challenges. And it also enhances your memory and problem solving abilities. So working on a daily basis with things like meditation, writing in a gratitude journal, even just journaling, listening to uplifting music. These are all ways that we can help to make sure that we're really instilling some positivity into our mindset on a daily basis. Next, sleep. My goodness, I could do the whole workshop here on sleep because it's just so important. We know that it's crucial to help our brain rest and restore. It's actually when our brain takes a bath. When I do this workshop for younger kids, I say when you sleep, it clears out the brain poop because really that's what it is, right? You get accumulation of waste and toxins. And when you're sleeping, your brain comes and power washes away all that waste and toxins. All that brain poop is washed away with the cerebral spinal fluid into your liver to be detoxified out of your system. And fun fact, a key stage of learning also occurs as we sleep. It's called consolidation. So as you're sleeping, your brain actually continues to process the information it's learned, and it becomes like this giant filing cabinet where information is stored from short to long-term memory. So if you find you're having trouble remembering some of the things you learned throughout the day, whether it's work or just your own personal development, it could be a lack of sleep. And we know that sleep improves mood. Nutrition and hydration are super important because your brain needs a lot of energy in order to function. So we want to make sure we're giving it healthy fuel. So since I knew I was doing this workshop tonight, I was like, I'm going to eat something really healthy so that I can really be on and motivated and energized when I talk to you. So I had salmon, sweet potato, and broccoli. I call that my power meal. Anytime that I want to make sure that I'm just feeling really great and energized, I have my power meal for dinner. Lots of research in students research, they compare groups of students who eat healthy whole foods compared to those who don't, students who drink a lot of water compared to those who don't. And the ones who are more conscious about that water and that healthy food intake generally will test higher on average. So I feel like if the studies were replicated with adults who are working or have, responsibilities, we would see similar results. These things fuel our brain to work at its best. And lastly, exercise. So we know the physical benefits of exercise, right? Makes us strong, healthy heart and lungs, but there's many brain boosting benefits of exercise. It actually has been proven, scientifically proven, to help improve memory, focus, concentration, attention. It's even been proven to be just as effective as certain medications at decreasing some symptoms of anxiety and depression. That's how powerful exercise is. Literally, if it could be bottled and sold as a drug, it would be a $1 billion industry because that's how beneficial it is. One thing, though, that I really love about exercise, it's what's known as a keystone habit, which means when you exercise regularly on purpose, you end up seeing a positive ripple effect in all other areas, right? You sleep better because it makes you tired. And when you sleep better, you're in a better mood the next morning. And when you're in a better mood, you're more likely to make healthy food choices. And when you make healthy food choices, you're more likely to continue exercising. It is really all connected. So thinking about your self-care and how you're currently doing, I want you to tell me in the chat, out of these 4 areas, pick just one that you think you need to work on improving and put it in the chat for me. I'm just curious to see which one is going to take the lead. Is it exercise? Which one do you need to work on improving? Sleep, nutrition. Okay. I think sleep and exercise are kind of tied here. I see a few mindsets, but lots of exercise and sleep. Okay, so make a commitment to yourself. I'm going to aim to be just 1% better and improve. Okay, good. Thank you, everyone. Oh, I love the participation. You're like a learning strategist dream. Cameras on, responding in the chat. Oh, this is amazing. So speaking of movement, let's just do a quick little stretch break, right? Because we all sit so often. So if you'd like to, you can stand or you can stay seated, but let's just get up and take a quick stretch, okay? So get up and stretch, maybe move your neck from side to side. Let's rotate those shoulders because we often are just sitting hunched over, right? So do whatever you need to do right now to move your body in a way that feels good, whatever your body's asking for. If you're seated, you can just roll your wrists, roll your neck, bend over, touch your toes. Just give your body a little love. So I'd like to remind people this is really helpful to do throughout the day because we really spend so much time sitting and we don't realize, they say sitting is the new smoking, right? So we don't realize how much that can negatively impact us and how much getting up and doing a quick little stretch break can really just wake you up and help you get through your busy day. Oh, I love that. You're on your yoga mat. Awesome. And I saw someone on I think a bicycle earlier too. That's amazing. I love it. So I love this quote. Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you, right? Because so often we're just go, hustle, that we neglect our self-care. So I'm hoping that resonated with somebody who maybe needed the friendly reminder. Okay, so now we're moving on to how to hype up your habits. So we live our lives on autopilot, like I said. We're like this poor little hamster running on this little wheel. Every day we wake up, wash, rinse, repeat. It's the same thing over and over. So because we're such creatures of habit, it's really important to understand how building habits works and how if we want to break a bad habit, how that works as well. So let's talk about habits in general. So some of you said, you want to start exercising or maybe get more sleep. What are some other things that you'd maybe like to start doing? Does anyone want to share in the chat? What are some things you would like to start doing? For me personally, as spring is slowly, I can't wait, approaching, I would like to do some spring cleaning. I would like to make a regular habit of maybe once a week decluttering an area of my home. So that's a habit I would like to adopt because right now my spare room is a hot mess. I don't know if anybody has that room that you just throw everything in. So I see dancing, outdoor walking. Yes, I still try to do it as much as possible, but sometimes the weather isn't very walking friendly especially when it's so icy. Clutter control. See, Fern, you feeling me? Yeah, it's not easy. Okay. And then what about some things that you would like to stop doing or do less of? Is there anything that maybe, maybe too much Netflix or maybe too many unhealthy foods, too much screen time, late night snacking? Yeah. For me, something I would like to do less of is Instagram because I use it for my business, but then I get sucked into the vortex, right? That mindless scrolling, next thing you know. So I put a limit on it. So I really want to stick to that limit. So snacking, okay, I see a lot of snacking. Drive-throughs, yes. I made a commitment for the month of February to try to stay away from drive-throughs. It's not easy because we get so dependent on it. So what's interesting is if you want to make a new habit stick, you have to incorporate these 4 laws of behavior change. The first thing you need to do is make it obvious. So an example I have here is when I wanted to start my habit of walking every day, I would get my clothes, my exercise clothes out the night before and put them right on my bathroom counter. Because where's the first place you go when you wake up in the morning, right? To the bathroom. So it was obvious. It was right there. I made it attractive. I chose nice walking outfits that were coordinated and made me feel good. And I made it easy. I didn't have to go rummaging through my drawers and try to find my socks and the headband I wanted. It was all right there. And I made it satisfying because I have an Apple Watch and I try to close my rings every day. If anyone has that, Yeah, exactly. It's so rewarding. And that gives my brain a signal to try and repeat it. So these laws of behavior change actually really do work and they really do simplify your brain's ability to kind of stick to that habit. Now, if you want to break a bad habit, you actually just invert these 4 laws. You reverse them. So you put it out of sight. You make it unattractive. You make it hard or less convenient and you make it unsatisfying. So I'll give you my example with chips. I mentioned salty snacks are my weakness. When I buy chips like I did yesterday for the Super Bowl, I have a gathering with my girlfriends this coming weekend and I bought an extra bag because you know how the grocery store is, buy 2 and then you get the discount, right? So they force you to buy 2. So I knew that those chips would be tempting me all week. So what I did is I have a pantry in my kitchen. I got my stepladder from the garage and I climbed up to the very top shelf and I put them there. So they are out of sight. It's unattractive and hard for me because I have to go to the garage, get the ladder, bring it inside, right? And then I told myself, if I go get those chips, then I have to eat the entire bag because I can't bring an open bag to my friend's house, right? So I found a way to kind of like manipulate my mind and invert these laws so that I would ensure that I don't eat those chips. So it really does work. So think about these and how you can apply it to some of those habits that you wanted to either make or break because they do work quite well. Now, this is my most favorite habit strategy, and I learned about it from my favorite habit book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, if anyone's heard of it. It's a great book. It's called habit stacking. So because we're such creatures of habit, we do the same things typically in the same order every day. For example, you wake up, you probably go for your phone and check it, probably go to the washroom, right? Every day. So when you want to incorporate a new habit into your already well-ingrained routine, what you need to do is think about something you never forget to do, like brushing your teeth. You never say to yourself, oh man, I gotta brush my teeth today, right? You just do it. It's so ingrained. So that's how I learned how to meditate, for example. I said, I'm going to just meditate every single day when I am finished brushing my teeth. And I also incorporated stretching in the shower because I never stretch enough and I'm so active. And, as you get older, you really should stretch more. So when I was like, oh, my body's already warm, I'm in the warm water. And now, like, even if I'm just having a quick shower because I had a good workout and I want to shower for the second time, I can't shower without stretching. My body now treats it as one task. And I can't brush my teeth without like turning around and going to meditate because my brain is so used to it. So it really does work. So I highly suggest it with trying to incorporate a new healthy habit into your already well-ingrained routine. It's a great, great strategy. So I mentioned Atomic Habits. If you've never heard of it, it's a really good read. James Clear did a great job of really breaking down how habits are created and how they can be broken, the bad ones. And I found it just very digestible, very easy to read. This is a classic, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And this is the classic one, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So just some reading that you can check out if you're interested in learning more or diving deeper into what a habit is and how you can create some good ones. I love to recommend binge reading versus binge watching, but hey, we need balance, right? Okay, so on to my top tips for surviving and thriving in today's busy times. So my first tip is all about time management. So I consider myself a time management expert because I teach students about it all the time, but I also like to teach adults and just anyone really about the importance of it because you really have to have a system of keeping track of what you have to do and a plan for how you're going to do it. So just curious if you could show me, how would you describe your current state? Are you A, super busy? You have so much to do and there are not enough hours in the day and you often feel overwhelmed. This is me for sure. Are you B, in between? Or C, organized and ready to go? A. Oh, binge listening. Oh, I saw that. Yeah, that's great. So I'm seeing a lot of Bs, which is good. That's good if you're somewhere in between. That's excellent. Mostly C, good for you. But I do see some A's. All right. Well, B is definitely, I think, where we want to be. You know, C would be idealistic, but maybe B is the nice happy medium. So when you're always in super busy mode, then those stress hormones flood our system, right? And our memory, our judgment, all these things can be impaired. We can be irritable and angry, and it can actually impact our immune system and our sleep. I know for me, I have to sometimes do a before bed brain dump. Otherwise, the to-do list is swirling in my brain with everything that I have to do. And so sometimes we react the same way to every task that comes our way, just because we're so stressed and overwhelmed. So we're more likely to think negatively and just feel unprepared or unsure of where to start, which can be quite frustrating. And procrastination is a big one, because procrastination is often misinterpreted as a time management issue, but it's actually quite emotional. When your brain thinks, I have to do something, but it seems so daunting and overwhelming, our brain's natural tendency is to resist what we deem as undesirable. So that's why it happens. We might use avoidance by like, oh, let me just watch Netflix or scroll on my phone. So we end up kind of living in survival mode, which can be very challenging. So how can you go from super busy to ready? Well, I'm a big believer in reducing the number of daily decisions. I think we have to make, oh, I can't remember the number now, but it's a lot. We have to make a lot of decisions every day, from what am I going to wear to what am I going to eat for breakfast to what time am I going to work on this and when do I have to pick this up? And it's just a lot of decisions. And we actually do struggle with decision-making fatigue. So what you can do, like I'm a huge fan of meal prep. On Sundays, I love to, like I said, salad jars. I love salad jars. I love to get some snacks. I like to get some baking done, some stuff for my son's lunch, some fruits and veggies cut up just to make my life a little easier. I do also like to plan I work on campus 2 days a week and from home 3 days a week. When I work from home, I wear my work pajamas, which are like comfy sweats. But when I go on campus, I actually have to look presentable. So I'll choose my work outfits in advance. So when the day comes, I don't have to decide what I'm going to wear. I'm a big fan of Key's Kitchen, if anybody knows Kieran. I'm a big fan of sometimes when I know I'm going to have a busy week, can I maybe order some healthy food that's going to help me make my week a little bit easier, right? You also want to have an external system of keeping track of what you have to do and making a plan for when you're going to do it. So I use something very often with students and professionals called a life schedule, where I map out what a typical week looks like. And so this is an example of mine. You know, I wake up in the morning and I do my meditation and my journaling, and then I have to spend time like helping my son get ready. He's a little bit older now, so he's a little more independent. Once he goes to school, that's when I exercise. So I usually do cardio strength. I usually do a walk. And then I have all my student appointments, my break for lunch. My son, we debrief when he comes home from school. I help him with his homework, cook dinner, eat dinner. We always order out on Fridays. And then I do my personal business on the weeknights. And then I play volleyball every Tuesday, which is super fun. And then my son always has basketball. We have a family movie night. So it's a nice way to kind of map out, what does my week look like? How am I going to fit in all the things that I want to get done? And sometimes, you know, it can be quite overwhelming when we just are going with the flow and we don't really have an idea of how we're going to fit everything in. So I find schedules like this can be quite helpful. So you may have something that you're using. Maybe you use Google Calendar or Outlook, whatever system you have. It doesn't matter if it's an agenda. I'm also a huge agenda person. So I color code my agenda and I use these amazing erasable gel pens. If you're not into erasable gel pens, oh, they are amazing. Oh yeah, look. So we're seeing the phone calendar. Yes, amazing. Color coded too? Yep. I love color coding everything. Yeah, it's awesome. So having a system that works for you to keep track of everything, because think about how much stuff goes into your brain. You need to have a system. So I love this quote too. The secret of your success is really found in your daily routine. And by creating a schedule and kind of mapping out what you're going to do, this is something known as an implementation intention. So what it is, it's really a plan that helps you increase your chances of accomplishing your goal. So they really work because it's almost like a pre-commitment. You're pre-deciding what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. So I like to share this study that was done where, and it's about exercise, which you'll appreciate. So there were 3 groups of people that were told, you have to exercise next week. Group A was given no additional information, just you have to exercise sometime next week. At the end of the following week, only 21% of the participants exercised. Group B was told this long spiel about all the benefits and you'll sleep better and you'll lose weight and blah, blah, blah. 35% of the participants exercised. But Group C was told, you are going to exercise on Monday, February 10th at 7 p.m. at this location. 91% of the participants exercised. Why? Because they had a plan. They pre-committed to doing this exercise at a specific date, time, and location. So think about how you can make an implementation intention and how that can really help you commit and stick to your goals. Okay, so this is one of my favorite tips too. A lot of students talk about the need to pause and reflect, because if nothing changes, nothing will change, right? So at the end of each week, really pause and ask yourself, how did this week go? How am I doing towards my goals, towards my 10 commitments? What changes do I need to try and implement next week to make it run more smoothly? Is there stuff that maybe I need help with? Can I delegate? Can I maybe collaborate with someone? Because I believe it was Einstein who said doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is the definition of insanity, right? So this reflection is key if you want to make a positive change. So something that works well for me and that I recommend to all my students is carve out some time for this reflection. I like to do mine on a Sunday evening. I call it my Sunday night planner party. I get my planner, my erasable gel pens, and I have a little section on big wins. What made me happy this week? What lessons did I learn? How will I improve next week? And I do that every Sunday so I can learn from maybe some of the challenges I faced and I can make plans to improve the following week. And it really seems to ground me, I think, and keep me motivated and inspired to improve. Okay, so dealing with digital distractions. Oh boy, this is a big one. And it's not even your fault, okay? Because many of the things on our devices are designed to literally hijack our attention. So how much time are you spending on your phone per day? This is a note, this is a judgment-free community here. So feel free to share, or you can even guess how much time the average person spends if you're not comfortable sharing your personal amount. Too many. Too much. Okay. I see where we're going here. Too many. Yeah. So we all know. So every iPhone user, if you have your screen time enabled, you will get a weekly report on your iPad or your iPhone that tells you this is how much screen time and if it's up or down from last week. So yeah, the general consensus here is too much. Too much every minute. Yeah, it's a problem.
Could we
It's a problem.
specify by asking how much useless time are we using on our iPhone? Because
Oh,
there's some stuff that is useful, but the useless time is what I'd like to say.
I was going to say all day, every minute, the whole entire day from wake up to sleep.
thank you for saying that, because I do preface with unproductive versus productive screen time. So yes, what I am referring to is that unproductive screen time. And what I see is that there's an average, this is for students, okay? So adults might be a little bit lower, but I'm seeing an average of 7 hours per day, which when you think about it is pretty much the equivalent of a full-time job. Like, what did we used to do before we had phones? Like, were we more social? Did we exercise more? Like, I definitely read more, right? It's a lot. It's a lot. So, oops, we're going to do a quick activity because I really want to show you how multitasking impacts us. So if everyone could grab the pen and paper, and I'll give a few seconds if anyone wants to grab one. This is a really fun activity that will show you what kind of happens when you try to multitask. So I'm just going to set my timer here. Stopwatch. Okay, so once you have your pen and paper, what you're going to do is you're going to just write 4 numbers in a row like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Almost like you're going to make a list. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And on the next slide, I'm going to explain the instructions, but please don't start until I say go. Okay. Okay, here we go. So, oops, I went backwards. Okay, so what you're going to do when I say go, don't start yet, is on the first line, you're going to write the sentence, switch tasking is a thief. And when you're finished that, on the second line, you're going to simply write the numbers 1 through to 21. When you are finished, you are going to type done in the chat, okay? That's the instructions. I'll explain it one more time, but don't start, please. When I say go, you're going to write the sentence, switch tasking is a thief on line 1. And then on line 2, you're going to write the numbers 1 through to 21. And when you're finished, you're going to type done in the chat. Okay? Are we ready? And go. Oh, fast. Okay, seeing lots of people are done, done. Very good. The dones are coming in. Good. Few more seconds. Okay. So everyone should be done or close to done by now. The first person, Marilyn, you're quite quick, was done at 25 seconds. I'd say the average was between 30 and 35 seconds, and then I let it go to about 48 seconds. So now I'm gonna explain first. Don't start until I say go. But the second part of this exercise is what you're going to do now is on line 3. Oh, we're going to simulate switch tasking. So you may be wondering, like, what I thought you said multitasking. What is switch tasking? So switch tasking is when you switch back and forth. So multitasking really implies that we're doing two things at the exact same time. So we're reading a book and we're on our phone at the same time. We don't do that. What ends up happening is we try to read something and then we're like, oh, my phone, a message, and we switch back and forth. So that's what we're simulating this time. So what you're going to do on line 3 when I say go is you're going to write the first letter of the sentence. And then on line 4, you're going to write the first number. Then you're going to go back to line 3 and write the second letter of the sentence. And then you're going to write the second number. And you're going to continue to do one letter, one number, one letter, one number until you've completed the entire sentence, switch tasking is a thief, and you've written all the numbers 1 through to 21, okay? So one letter, one number. So I have to just give this quick disclaimer because it happens all the time that people will just do these 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 and be like, I'm done. No, you have to do the whole sentence and all the numbers, okay? So I'm going to explain one more time, and then I'm going to restart my timer. You're going to do one letter on line 3, and then one number on line 4, and then one letter on line 3, and one number on line 4. Okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. And then when you're done, you're going to put done in the chat. Already at a minute and 15 seconds. Wow. Okay. So it looks like most people are done. So the earliest one was done at 48 seconds. The first time we did it, it was 25 seconds. So almost double the time, right? I'm still at 1:30 if people are still writing. So this is exactly what happens when we switch task. Number one, the time increases, right? It takes more energy, it takes more attention. It decreases our performance and increases our stress levels. So you may think it's no big deal that I have my phone right here while I'm supposed to be focusing on something, whether it's work or something personal, but all that switching back and forth actually can really negatively impact us. In fact, I saw this study out of Harvard that said when we're working on something and we get interrupted by our phone, on average, it takes us 25 minutes to refocus on what we were originally working on. So if you get interrupted a few times, in an hour, then you may only get 15 minutes of that hour to be productive. So it's a real problem. Yes, I see you say it was much harder the second time. Exactly. Exactly. Much harder. Your stress levels definitely increase. 7:54. Okay, thank you. All right. So my strategy to limit your unproductive screen time. Number one, your notifications should be out of sight. 2/3 of smartphone users never adjust the settings on their notifications, which means you're constantly being interrupted. So my suggestion, go into your settings, go to notifications and just toggle off. You don't need to know if Swiss Chalet has a special tonight. You don't need to know if Zara is having a sale. Just turn it off, all those notifications, out of sound. We've really conditioned our brain to respond immediately to those beeps and buzzes, right? So turn it on silent if you're trying to be productive. And lastly, out of reach, if there's something that you want to do, and you want to really see your productivity level skyrocket, then put your phone in another room and you'll be amazed at how much more you get done when you're not picking it up every 2.3 seconds. All right. And, that blue light really does negatively impact your sleep. It's not a myth. It does block the production of melatonin, that sleep hormone. So try reading from a physical book at night as opposed to watching TV or being on your phone scrolling in bed, and you'll notice an improvement in the quality of your sleep. This is a really great documentary on Netflix called The Social Dilemma. If you're addicted to social media and you kind of want to have a better understanding of why and how these things are designed to hijack your attention, I do recommend you take a watch. Or even consider deleting it, deleting the app, right? Deleting the app that is hijacking your attention all the time. I can't tell you how many students have told me that's been the difference between passing and failing for them. So if you find you're having a hard time meeting your goals and you're like, I don't have time, but yet you're spending 7 hours a day unproductively on your phone, then maybe you need to rethink how you're spending your time, right? So the last tip I'm going to quickly go through is seek support if you need it. Sometimes we're at the beginning of a new year, it can feel like we have a long climb ahead. And for some of you, the way you're going about this climb, it's like you have this 200-pound backpack on your back because you're not prioritizing your sleep. You're not prioritizing your self-care. You're not building healthy habits. You're on your phone all the time. So, think of the oxygen mask theory on a plane. The reason why they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first is so that you don't pass out before taking care of those who are dependent on you, right? So I just like to leave you with this quick little story about canaries in the coal mine. So back when they used to have miners, they would send a canary down because if they discovered that a canary would immediately show signs of distress in the presence of carbon monoxide and it would die well before a human would feel the effects. So they became like a crucial role in detecting toxic gases and decreasing the amount of deaths in the coal mines. So I like to think of our body does a really good job of letting us know, are you okay? Is there something toxic that could potentially lead to me getting sick or having to take time off work? So our body always keeps score. So are you listening to it? Are you paying attention to what it's trying to tell you? Are you ignoring the signs that maybe the stress you're facing is a little too much and you need to pull back and take a little break? Do you need to ask for help? If you do feel like you're drowning, reach out, get the support you need, whether it's from a friend, a family member, a professional. There's apps, there's websites, there's the amazing Kickstart community, right? So much help is available. Or maybe you need a friendly learning strategist in your life. If you do, please feel free to stay connected. I am on LinkedIn. I have a website that has all my services. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at Study with Joanne. I post tips every day on how you can improve your productivity and your wellness. And if you do have a student in your life, maybe they need a learning strategist as well. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you found it valuable. I really enjoyed seeing your faces. That's my treat for tonight. And I genuinely wish you all the best on your journey. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Joanne. That was fabulous. It's so funny because you know what? We often hear a lot of, you know what I mean? You hear the same things over and over again, but repetition is what makes things stick. And what we love is we love knowing that what we are trying to provide to our community is what all
The
these
experts come in
and professionals are saying exactly that.
So many things you said tonight. I was like, That's what we're doing with Kickstart. That's what we're doing with Kickstart. And last night's presentation was similar. We kept hearing some tips. Like, this is exactly what we're trying to teach people, and exactly what we, how we lost our weight and how we're keeping our life going is because we always set ourselves up with, as often as we can, trying to create healthy habits for ourselves. And so
and setting those boundaries, taking that self-care that we need to do most often. We sometimes struggle with it as well. We all struggle with certain things, but as long as you always keep it in the top of your mind that, you know what, it's not selfish, it's self-care. That's okay. And I love the fact that you said hype your habits. That stuck with me. Definitely. I was like, wow, what a cool way to look at things. Is don't think your habits as a boring thing. Make them an exciting thing. It's a fun thing to have habits. It's a fun thing because you feel so accomplished when you're excited about those things.
And another thing we wanted to share, Jean-Luc, was to jump the gun. He didn't wait till you presented your full slide.
Yeah,
we are not
We're not
We're C.
We're C. Totally.
Oh,
We're totally C.
I went back and I reread it. I was like, oh my God, I
jumped the gun because
but you know what it is we're A and C because we're super busy, but we're extremely organized.
I love that. I saw that when you showed your phone. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, you
he's
could
married
lead
to
the
Nick.
time management
Nick is very
session.
anal about calendars and lists and Excel spreadsheets.
And that's just a personal phone. I have a work calendar that's completely just as color coordinated, but on a whole different system because it's work.
Yeah.
And there's another thing you mentioned earlier, and you were talking about you know what I mean, like getting rid of that bag of chips. When you said putting that bag of chips on the top, and I saw a few people say, "Oh, I put my stuff in the trunk of the car, so I won't want to go outside and grab it." And I love those ideas. Someone mentioned in the group saying, "I'm having a struggle with wanting to weigh myself every day."
Ooh.
And the suggestion I gave them was take your scale, grab a nice box, put the scale in a box, wrap it up with some beautiful wrapping paper, put a pretty bow on it, and put it somewhere where you see it, but you don't look at
You
it
said
as
a nice box.
Yeah.
I heard ice box.
Nice, not a nice box.
I heard ice box. Like, you're gonna put it in the freezer?
Well, you can put it in the freezer if you want, but you'll see it all the time. But you wrap it up and you have it there where you see it, but it's no longer the scale anymore. It's like you're giving yourself this gift of not being on it all the time because those obsessions aren't any better, right? The obsessing about the bag of chips or the scale or those little things. So making sure you realize that you can get rid of you can break these habits. You can break and I don't even want to call them bad habits, but the habits that you don't want anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joanne. So for those of you wondering, Joanne shared in chat, you can find our Instagram, Study with Joanne, or her website, studywithjoanne.com. So those are two ways you can reach out to her. And if you have any questions, just send us an email. We'll get you in contact with Joanne. Of course, we're always willing to give information. And tomorrow night, as we said, we have Angel Trusky with us tomorrow night. This week is there's a certain theme happening this week where it's all about being positive, setting yourself up for success. Because you know why? This is week 4 of Kickstart. Things tend to start, it's week 4. I'm not doing my commitments.
Some numbers in there going, well, I'm feeling blah, I'm feeling this. We gotta hype your commitments up again, people.
This is the time we need to push you guys to get past that finish line.
Weeks left.
Only 12 days. Tomorrow morning it'll say in your email, 12 days are left. That's it.
12.
And that's all you have to do. 12 more days to get your 10 commitments. Think about it. That's nothing. It's just 2 hands and two numbers.
Less days left than we already overcame.
Yeah.
So think of all the things you accomplished, and that's one thing I'm going to give you all homework. I want tonight.
That was today's task.
I want you more. I want to see more things that you feel so proud that you've already done in these 30 days. I don't want to see any. Oh well, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. That's not what I'm asking. I want to see what you did in these last 30 days, even if it's one thing. Post it in the group. Be proud of what you did. You really, really deserve that pat on the back. You guys are great individuals and you're all strong. You need to believe it. You need to believe it. And what we say all the time, fake it till you make it.
So we'll see you tomorrow night with our session with Angel. Positivity, it's in all of us. And then on Thursday, chicken parmesan and
it's in all of us.
Cauliflower Alfredo, cooked by Jean-Luc. And then Sunday, we will have the Rustic Mama ladies coming here to talk to us about women empowering women.
Women empowering women.
So we'll end the live feed.
For those of you guys in the background.
Yeah. We'll end the live feed. For those of you in Zoom, we'll stick around for a few seconds and answer any of your questions. Have a great night, everybody. Keep kickstarting, and we'll see you guys in the morning. I posted everything during this. I was multitasking.
He's terrible.
Yeah, but I was listening. But I was also multitasking. I had to. I want to take a break after this. I want to sit down and relax. So here we go.